गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन। जो भरा नहीं है भावों से बहती जिसमें रसधार नहीं, वह हृदय नहीं है पत्थर है जिसमें स्वदेश का प्यार नहीं। द पर्सन who does not love his country is not alive. With these thoughts, I, Dr. Manoj Srivastav, Associate Professor, IMT CDL, welcome all the participants to this session, Patriotism, a Force Multiplier towards Nations Building. We are celebrating 75 years of independence as AzadiKaAmritMahotsav to commemorate the glorious history of India's people and its culture, and to awaken the feeling of patriotism in every Indian's heart. The meaning of patriotism is the feeling of love for country, and this emotion has tremendous strength. To enlighten us on this theme, we are fortunate to have Colonel Sudhir Kumar Saxena with us. Colonel Saxena, BTech from University of Roorkee and MTech from IIT Kanpur, is popularly known as Hari Om Sudhir in his social circle and social media platforms. He is retired as Colonel in 2018 with 37 years of active service with the Indian Army Corps of Engineers, serving across length and breadth of the country in most inhospitable terrains such as high altitude at 17,000 feet, deserts and terrorist-infested locations of Jammu and Kashmir and Northeast states. Being a Corps of Engineer officer, he had few tenures in military engineer services, actively involved in planning and completing projects with worth of hundreds of crores. He has also worked on deputation as Director, Works and Infrastructure in Coast Guard Headquarters. Colonel Saxena took part in Operation Vijay in Kargil in 1999. He is presently an executive member of Veterans India, a patriotic NGO. He has a deep interest in spiritualism and regularly practices meditation. Colonel Saxena always feels proud to have served Indian Army and thereby motherland. Now I request Colonel Saxena to continue the session.
Thank you, Dr. Manoj Srivastav, for giving the preliminary introduction. Good evening, friends. I am Hari Om Sudhir. Hope you're all good and doing good. You're all happy and doing good. And I feel privileged and honored to have been chosen to deliver a talk on patriotism, a force multiplier towards nations building for the students and alumni of Institute of Management Technology. Intent covering the talk in the heads as shown on the slide. As a brief introduction has already been given by Dr. Manoj Srivastav, I will not dwell upon it again, but I would like to spend a few minutes on Corps of Engineers of Indian Army. I was commissioned into Corps of Engineers in 1982. Now, Corps of Engineers, as some of you would like to know, that it is a supporting arm, supporting the infantry and armor. Armor means tanks during wars and operations. And I would like to give you a little insight of Corps of Engineers, just to let you know how tough and challenging job of the Corps of Engineers is. You'll applaud that one of the PVC awardees, one of the Param Veer Chakra awardees is from Corps of Engineers, and he got it alive. Now, coming to the role of Corps of Engineers is twofold. One, to deny or retard the mobility of enemy forces, that is their infantry and armor, by laying minefields, creating roadblocks, or even blowing up of bridges of strategic and tactical importance. And two, further facilitate or enhance the mobility to our own forces, that is our infantry and armor, by breaching minefields, removal of roadblocks, and building dismantleable or foldable bridges across river and canal and even dry gaps. Just to add, while serving in high altitude at the height of 15 to 17,000 feet and desert of Rajasthan, The extreme temperatures were -8 to -10 degrees centigrade and 50 degrees centigrade respectively. I will just narrate a very small incident of my physical training at high altitude. My field company was there constructing bunkers at the height of 14,000 and above and went up to 17,000 feet. We used to go for PT every morning on a foot track, which is just about 2.5, 3 feet. And we used to, from the exercise point of view, we used to do a lot of brisk walking. And as luck would have it, on one day, I was going as usual from a brisk walk, rather, a quite fast walk. And I found, to my amazement, that where I stepped, the whole soil mass went down thousands of feet deep. And I didn't go inside because I had already moved my other leg ahead. So I got saved. So these are the hazards of forces and for all arms and services that way. So I thought I'll just narrate this particular incident. Had I been slow, had I been walking slow, I also would have gone down. Right. As Director Works and Infrastructure of Coast Guard Headquarters, I'm proud to share with you that I got 250 crores works worth sanctioned from the Ministry of Defense, which was a record till then, including all those years of Coast Guard history since its inception of 1978. Rest my experiences in the works, Dr. Moses has already shared. I'll not go over it again. In the entire service of mine, I led a physically fit and mentally robust life. And let me tell you, friends, it's a wonderful organization. Believe me, it's a wonderful organization. I repeat, I underline it, and I mean every letter of it. Because the kind of camaraderie, brotherhood, sense of belonging is just unmatched, unparalleled, amazing. Its rich traditions, values, ethos are further special to the organization. Army is the only organization which pays you to remain fit, besides besides giving you the honor to safeguard our borders. Being in the Army, I got to see far-flung areas, culture, ethnicity, language, customs, and traditions, which otherwise I would have never dreamt and thought of going to such far-flung areas. Coming to Operation Bluestar, which I took part in 1984, some of you may recall that in 1984, Bhindranwala had hidden about 600 to 700 terrorists inside the Golden Temple. Army had to move in and flush them out. About 800, 900 terrorists were killed. Akal Takht, where most of the terrorists were hiding, it was brought down or turned into ashes. And my field company was fortunate enough to carry out the crash repairs after the operation, where I still recall very vividly that you couldn't have seen even 2 inches of space in the walls without a bullet mark. You can imagine how difficult it would have been to carry out the crash repairs. We did the crash repairs 16 to 18 hours a day for 15 days consecutively without a break. And then only it was in a condition to open the Golden Temple for the general public. During Operation Vijay, my field company got an opportunity to construct an underground operations room for the divisional headquarters to house the general officer commanding and his staff officers and the men, to protect them from direct shelling. The size of the ops room was approximately 35 meters by 25 meters. Now, I would like to share with you an anecdote which is interesting and you must listen to it. I'll take you right to my academy days when we used to go for PT in the morning in a batch of 15-20. One NCO, that is non-commissioned officer, he used to conduct our PT, and we all used to be addressed as gentlemen cadets, GCs. In short, we used to be addressed as GC or gentleman cadet. We have to fall in for PT every morning, and I hope you understand fall in. Fall in, it means standing of a group in an orderly fashion. So the NCO who was conducting the PT, very frequently he would say, GC, fall in here. He'll not say here, he'll not say in English. He said, GC, idhar fall in, udhar fall in. And he'll just point his hand in that direction. So everybody used to follow. Basically, he wanted to see the response of the cadets, or gentlemen cadets, and how quick the reflexes are, how energetic and agile the gentleman cadet is, and how responsive he is to my orders. So one fine morning, one of the GCs, one of the gentleman cadets, he kept standing. He did not move an inch, despite the NCO telling again, time and again, idhar fallen, udhar fallen, idhar fallen. So when he didn't find one particular GC not moving, he asked him angrily. He said, GC, क्या तुम सुनता नहीं है? सुनाई नहीं पड़ता? कहता सब सुनाई पड़ता है, लेकिन आप पहले ये डिसाइड तो कर लो कि कहाँ फॉलन होना है. So this was in the lighter vein. So I thought that I'll share this anecdote with you. Now, nation building encompasses a lot. I've listed some of the points which constitute nation building. So the first and foremost is character of its citizens. Character building is the responsibility of all of us, all veterans, all such like NGOs, Veterans India and such like NGOs. It has got a direct bearing on national development. Character means nothing but integrity, ethical practices, honesty, loving your country, supporting your country, defending your country, and its interest with devotion. That's the character. So that character has to be built for all its citizens. A sense of belonging, the job that one is doing. I'll just quote a very small example of character from Japan. In one of the local trains in Japan, one foreigner was traveling. For his ease of comfort, he kept both his feet on his front seat. Japanese sitting next to him was trying to convey with his stare that what you are doing is not right. But he didn't pay any heed to his stare. Perhaps he didn't notice it. The traveler kept putting his feet on the opposite seat. After some time, this guy lost patience. What he did, he took both his feet on his lap and sat where his feet were kept. To his amazement, he asked him, why are you doing So why holding my feet and keeping it on your lap? On this, Japanese said, look, you are my guest. I cannot afford to antagonize you, offend you. But at the same time, I love my country and I love its property. I cannot see my property getting damaged. So the best thing I could do was to keep your feet on my lap so that you are also happy and I'm also happy. So this is an example of character. Now, infusing spirit of patriotism. As we know, patriot is the one who, for the sake of reputation, the one who loves, supports, defends his country with ultimate devotion. And this infusing of spirit is being done by Veterans India and by a lot of NGOs and government organizations. Now, all-round development is again part of nation building. All-round development, when I say, it means in all fields. We cannot afford to lag behind in any particular field because it will affect our economy. It will affect our import, right? So there are fields that should be simultaneously developed, like IT field, manufacturing sector, tourism sector, your defense sector. Like we should be exporting our defense equipment. We should bring it to that level. And renewable energy, you name a sector, it should be developed. Now, boosting economy. Today, as you know, the war is of economies. China has the audacity to show its teeth because of its economy, even to the USA. He spread corona to the entire world, and yet he got away with it, and he could not be punished the way he should have been, because his economy is number 2 in the world, and his PPP, purchasing power parity, is perhaps the highest, even higher than that of USA. So economy plays a very important role. We have to go a long way to catch up with the economy of China. However, now with the pace that we are heading, we should be able to catch up with China in about 15-20 years time, hopefully. Augmenting defense forces capabilities. Now, this in last 7-8 years, this has been the priority of the government. We have procured lots of sophisticated and new equipment. We have phased out the old equipments and ineffective equipments and the weapon system. We have given, DRDO has been empowered to manufacture equipment and weapon system as per the qualitative requirement of the armed forces. Tejas is one example. Tejas is a fighter aircraft, and which is better than that of China best fighter aircraft. So we have come a long way. INS Vikrant, the first aircraft carrier indigenously built in India, in Cochin, is going to be commissioned soon on 2nd of September. On this particular aircraft carrier, 1,500 officers and sailors would be posted. 30 aircrafts and choppers will be housed in this particular aircraft, will be operating from this particular aircraft carrier, Vikrant. Our space program is going at a very rapid and exponential pace. So we are adequately augmenting defense forces capabilities as desired. Inculcating discipline. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, which is very important for any organization. Unless we are disciplined, we cannot do good to ourselves. What to talk of doing good to the organization? Or what to talk of doing good to the people who we come in contact with. So we need to be disciplined. Self-discipline is really important. And our progress and development of the country depends a lot on the discipline of our citizens. Taking pride in our rich heritage. Ladies and gentlemen, you would agree with me that we have lost touch with our roots. We have lost touch with our culture, traditions, customs, and brave kings like Maharana Pratap, Shivaji, and the lady Rani Lakshmibai. We have got trapped in rat race for our personal gains. We have to take pride and bring it up in the knowledge of all our citizens. Unless we take pride in our heritage, we cannot take pride in our nation. And unless we take pride in our nation, we cannot involve ourselves in nation building. Fighting, eradicate evils in society. Now, there are n number of evils in the society. To begin with, alcoholism. I think is one of the worst evils going around in the country today. Alcoholism does not only affect the health of the person who is consuming alcohol, but it is also affecting the happiness of his family. It is giving rise to domestic violence. The next is child abuse, child marriages, infanticide. There are n number of evils prevailing in the society today. And a number of NGOs are working towards eradication of these evils, but our duty is also at whatever level, in whatever way that we can contribute to eradicating these evils will be good for the society. Enhance physical and mental fitness quotient. You would agree with me that if the citizens of a nation are healthy, the nation would be healthy. When I say healthy, you have to be physically fit and mentally robust, like an army man, like an infantry man, like a defense forces man. So every citizen should pay adequate attention to his physical and mental fitness requirements. It entails changing lifestyle. It entails consuming nutritious diet and follow a particular routine. This should be prevailed in the country to make our citizens healthier physically and mentally. Develop sports culture. This is very important because sports not only gives you a healthy life, but it also gives you a better immunity. It teaches you a better team spirit. It gives you confidence. I'll take an example of Milkha Singh, the flying Sikh. He died at the age of 91 last year. And you'll be surprised to know that a few weeks before his death, he was still jogging. We did well just because we have developed sports culture to a great extent in last few years. We have done pretty well in Birmingham Commonwealth Games, and we have got one gold medal in javelin throw by Neeraj Chopra. He's again from Army, and we are proud of him that he got us one gold. Now, maintain connect with the Almighty. This is very important. Unless we maintain connect with the Almighty, our mind will not be calmed down. We require to do a lot of meditation, do some pranayama, yoga, exercise, and an army. For information, that we have Mandir parade every month religiously, wherein the commanding officer of the unit, he also attends that Mandir parade. So connecting with the Almighty or connect with the Almighty enhances our inner strength. You live in the present, and the moment you live in the present, you are happy. You are a happy man. You make right and timely decisions. Your performance is better because your cluttering of a mind has calmed down, has quietened. Your performance is better. Your output is better. So all these points I thought I'll just dwell upon a bit as far as nation building is concerned. Now coming to introduction of Veterans India, under these heads as shown on the slide, I'll cover Veterans India. Now Veteran India 6, some of you may be curious to know as to what is Veterans India 6. Now this is 6 is a national level non-political organization of veterans from different fields to spread nationalism and patriotism by utilizing the experience into nation building. You see, primarily this particular organization is doing the job of nation building. Now, Memorandum of Understanding with the AICTE, All India Council of Technical Education, has been signed this year in the month of February. And by signing this MOU, Veterans India has an access to 55,000 AICTE affiliated colleges, institutions, and universities. And this particular talk, which I'm giving you right now, is the result of this MOU. The vision, the aim is nation building, as I covered earlier. The scope of nation building is quite vast. The vision is aspire to assist in nation building by infusing the spirit of nationalism and patriotism in every citizen, by drawing our inspiration from the Constitution of India and real life heroes, and not real life heroes, mind you. We have seen real life heroes whose integrity is questionable. How hollow they are from inside, we all know. So everything has to be done, nation building has to be done within the ambit of Constitution of India and real life heroes. Objective: to channelize the potential and experience of patriots and nationalists, to initiate a movement to create a nationalistic society by inculcating patriotism, nationalism, and integrity towards the nation amongst citizens in general, and youth and children in particular through various activities. As we know, the population of our youth and children is the highest in the world. They'll be taking the country forward. So all these activities which are organized are for all, but particularly for youth and children. These various activities like Patriotic Run on 26th January and 15th August, Welfare of War Widows, contribution in flood relief, and many such activities we'll see ahead, that we have got number of wings that are doing their job in different fields. Veterans India organized 2,200 feet flag march inside the JNU campus, held by 600 members, 300 on each side. And this was done, mind you, within few months of shouting of anti-national slogans in JNU by Tukle Tukle gang. How difficult it was to gain an entry in the JNU just after a few months, a couple of months of this particular shameful incident. But where there's a will, there's a way. Our will prevailed, and we did this with pride. This is the organizational structure. As of now, you're not really concerned till you become a member, so I'll not dwell upon it. Now, these are the details of the wings, which and these wings are functioning under this particular NGO, Veterans India. I am the part of intellectual and reform wings, which is fifth from left column. There are a number of wings. You can read out yourself. Martyr Soldiers, Sports Wing, Nari Sena, Employment and Placement Wing, Intellectual Reforms Wing, Legal Wing, and so on. Same in the right side, Disability Rehabilitation Wing, Non-Resident Indian, NRI Wing. So we have created these wings to look after or to work in these areas. In the journey of Veterans India, apart from a large number of veterans, including ex-chief General V.K. Singh, Major General G.D. Bakshi, and many very senior lieutenant generals and major generals, veterans are members of this particular organization. Apart from that, many intellectuals, dignitaries, and personalities have also joined in and have contributed wholeheartedly towards building a platform for national awakening. Now, national building, you would agree with me, is only possible when national awakening is there. Nation building is only possible when national awakening is there. So they have done a good job, and they are still doing a good job in awakening the nation and its citizens. At the grassroots level, each and every member have understood the need for greater achievement through the spirit of giving, which is very important. We are only there to give in some form or other, some way or other, be it environmental causes, assisting people requiring rehabilitation, women empowerment, fighting evil of the society, welfare of the widows, developing sportsman spirit, looking after the our ex-servicemen, legal issues, NRI issues, anything for that matter. We are just giving. And that with that spirit and emotion, this particular NGO is flourishing in the sense, not in a monetary sense, not in economic sense, but it is doing very well and is achieving its aim, which it has set for. Anybody can become a member of this particular organization just by paying 100 rupees per annum. Office bearer has to pay, they have to pay at the national level 12,000 rupees every year, at the state level 6,000 rupees, city level 3,000 rupees. An executive member like me, we have to pay 1,200 rupees every month. So it's very, very nominal to become a member of this organization. Now, I'll touch upon about the defense forces that I feel that everybody should know. It's a very, very basic elementary information. This is a rank structure, friends. General in the Indian Army is the top post rank, Indian Navy, Admiral, Indian Air Force, Air Chief Marshal. And it's in the descending order. The General Indian Army, we call it Chief of the Army Staff. In Navy, we call it Chief of Naval Staff. In Indian Air Force, we call it Chief of Air Staff. You would be aware that General Manoj Pandey, he is the Chief of the Army Staff right now. And he is also, you'll be surprised to know, he has created history to become Chief of the Army Staff from Corps of Engineers. He is the first General Chief of the Army Staff who's from Corps of Engineers in the entire Indian Army history. The Chief of the Naval Staff is Admiral R. Hari Kumar, and Chief of the Indian Air Force Staff, Chief of Air Force Staff is Air Chief Marshal Vivek Ram Chaudhary. Gentlemen, you would agree with me after seeing this slide that the cost of freedom has been tremendous. It's overwhelming, I would say. You see the number of casualties in different operations, starting from 47, 49, Indo-Pak till Kargil, is about 11,000 killed and about 26,500 wounded. And mind you, these casualties do not include the casualties occurred in insurgency and UN peacekeeping operations, United Nations peacekeeping operations. For your information, approximately 300 to 400 soldiers, including officers, lay down their life every year to maintain the freedom of the country. So firstly, getting freedom was not easy. It was such hard to earn, so hard to earn, and still so hard to maintain. We have to pay very heavy price to maintain the freedom. Just very elementary, I think everybody should know the gallantry awards. Paramveer Chakra is the gallantry award during war and operations in the face of the enemy. The second highest is Mahavir Chakra, and third is the Veer Chakra. On the right side is the gallantry award during peacetime, the fighting insurgents. Ashok Chakra, Kirti Chakra, Shaurya Chakra. The figures that I have given here, the first figure is number of awards that have been conferred upon so far till date, and the second figure is the number of awards given posthumously, Maroprant. So total number of Paramveer Chakras 21, Mahavir Chakra 219, and Veer Chakra 1322. Out of these, 1474 and 361 were posthumously. Similarly, Ashok Chakra, the figures of Ashok Chakra and Kirti Chakra have been left out for the posthumous, but there are posthumous awards. Now, just a little brief on Paramveer Chakras. Total number 21. Out of these 21, 2 have been awarded in operations outside India. That is Congo, UN Peacekeeping Force. Major Salaria was the officer who got this particular award. And Op Pavan, which was fought against LTT, Liberation Tigers of Tamil LM, when the Sri Lankan army was sitting in barracks. We fought the LTT and we got 1 PVC, and we have very heavy casualties that we have already seen in the last slide. The total number of PVCs are 21. Now I'll just touch upon their act of gallant. It's a short citation. The full citation we couldn't have given because of the paucity of time in the space on the slide. Major Somnath Sharma was the first recipient of Paramveer Chakra. He was from 4 Kumaon unit of infantry, and he got it when he was defending Badgam in Kashmir on 3rd November 1947. Major Sharma, with a broken arm, staved off enemy attacking on Badgam aerodrome and Srinagar. He was personally filling magazines and issuing them to the light machine gunners. His death inspired the fellow soldiers to fight the enemy 7:1 for 6 hours. Imagine. We held on to the enemy for 6 hours when the ratio was against us of 1:7. Now he is again Corps of Engineer officer. He got the Paramveer Chakra. He got it alive. It was during 1947-48 war. He braved machine gun fire, cleared mines and roadblocks. As I mentioned initially in the beginning, one of the roles of a Corps of Engineers is to clear roadblocks, to clear the minefields, to breach the minefields, and pave way for the infantry and armor. So he cleared mines and roadblocks on the road for tanks. His diligence over days, despite being wounded, facilitated the advance of Rajouri. He drove to a roadblock in a tank, crouched under it, and cleared the mines. So very bravely, very brave act that he did. In fact, he did it for days together and for kilometers, I think tens of kilometers, I would say. Subedar Joginder Singh, he got it in the China War. Holding a position in Tongping La area, Subedar Singh faced repeated attacks by the Chinese. Despite wounded in the thigh, he refused evacuation. He manned a light machine gun and killed a large number of enemies. Finally, better weapons of the enemy prevailed and Singh was martyred. As you are aware that in China War, we were not, equipment-wise, we were very badly off. Well, be it our rifles, be it our clothing, our shoes, we were in pathetic state. But yet we fought and showed our bravery. Lieutenant Colonel Tarapur of 17 Pune Horse from Armored Corps was told to deliver armored thrust to capture Philora. He was at the helm of the tank battle of 65 Indo-Pak War. He led an assault at Jasoran and Buttar Dograndi. He was mortally wounded. He got it posthumously. Lance Nayak Albert Ekka got it in 71 Bangladesh War. Ordered to capture a position during 71 Indo-Pak War, Ekka charged an enemy bunker, bayoneted enemy soldiers, silenced an LMG, hurled a grenade into an enemy bunker before finally succumbing to injuries. Nabswar Rana Singh Jack Alai, Jammu and Kashmir Light Infantry. It was in 87 and he got it alive, leading his men through a hazardous route to rid the area of Pakistani infiltrators and intruders. In 87, Nab Subedar Singh lobbed grenades, charged with a bayonet, and moving from trench to trench cleared the post of all intruders. Excuse me. Captain Vikram Batra, Ye Dil Mange More, is during the Kargil War. He engaged 3 enemy soldiers in close combat and killed them as his Delta company recaptured point 5140 before overrunning enemy post at point 4750 and point 4875. What it's saying is that after we captured point 5140, the point 4750, capturing point 4750 and point 4875 became very easy. We just overran these posts. He was killed by enemy fire as he tried to rescue a fellow officer. This is what I was referring to initially, that camaraderie, the brotherhood is such that he told that fellow officer, look, you are married, I'm not married. I will go and do the needful. So he rescued him, he sent him back, he went ahead and got martyred. Grenadier Yogendra Singh, he is again a PVC recipient alive. Tasked to capture 3 Tiger Hill bunkers. Grenadier Yadav. Grenadier means we have Grenadier regiment, so don't get confused. All soldiers in Grenadier regiment, they are called Grenadiers. Like in other units, they are called Sepoy so and so, they are called Grenadier. So Grenadier Yadav, after being hit by 3 bullets, climbed the remaining 60 feet to an enemy bunker at the top and lobbed a grenade, killing 4 and neutralizing enemy fire. Imagine, after being hit by 3 bullets, he did all this gallant act. Now, having covered the Paramveer Chakra awardees briefly, coming to patriotism versus nationalism. Somebody asked, what is the difference between patriotism versus nationalism? In fact, I asked somebody. He asked me back, is there any difference? I didn't know. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is a difference. But I'm just covering this for the academic sake, academic value. Patriotism, we have covered enough, a feeling of love, devotion, and commitment to one's country. Nationalism, it is one's country above others. Patriotism is inclusive, does not feel superior in any way, respects others, religions, culture, language, ethnicity, etc. On the contrary, nationalism, they consider themselves superior in all these respects and take criticism as an insult. Patriotism embraces criticism and strives to improve and strengthen. Now, I would give you an example. In J&K, number of human rights violations cases have been filed earlier. Now, by the grace of God and by government policy, the armed forces have been given a free hand to deal with the terrorists. Earlier on, you may be aware that at the drop of the hat, of human right violation cases used to be filed. But even then, there was no laxity in dilution in doing one's duty and fighting those terrorists. And we made sure that the civilians were not targeted. And despite doing our best in shielding or in making sure that civilians don't die, the number of human rights violation cases were filed. It was so sad and so tragic. On the other hand, Pak Army, Inter-Services Intelligence of Pakistan, jihadis are hand in glove and killing our innocent people in the name of nationalism. We'll just leave at that. Patriotism, nationalism. Patriotism passive in nature, is more active in nature, nationalism. But patriotism doesn't mean that you don't question government's policies and their decisions. You do question, because everything and anything which is in interest of the nation has to be questioned by a patriot. This much we have to remember. We are not, a patriot is not aggressive, whereas nationalism or nationalist is aggressive. But as far as we are concerned, for this purpose, for the purpose of this talk, we are doing through patriotism and nationalism, both. Now, what makes one patriot? What one would wonder, how do you know that I'm a patriot? So I've tried to analyze and thought about it, pondered over it, and made that this should be the prerequisites of being a patriot. Love, support, and defend his country with devotion. This we have covered time and again. Taking pride in our armed forces. This is very important. You would recall that some of our politicians were questioning the number of casualties that we had inflicted upon the Pakis during a surgical strike after the Uri operation. And the same set of people also questioned the air strike at Balakot. That's very sad. That's very tragic. If you don't take pride in our armed forces, we don't have faith in our armed forces, I think it's really pathetic. And that is where we have to come in, and we have to, instill the national pride of the armed forces in the citizens of the country. Profound respect for our freedom fighters. I'm sure many of you would be aware that freedom fighter Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, and Sukhdev, they were hanged in 1931 when they were just 23, 24 to get our country free, to see our country free. Can we imagine at the age of 23, 24, they were hanged? So we should have profound respect for these freedom fighters. Veer Savarkar, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, who formed INA, Indian National Army, to fight Britishers, to oust Britishers from India. He was the one who ensured mutiny in the Navy, a mass scale. Britishers were scared after Second World War. They couldn't have stayed longer. Their survival was at stake. So let's understand that the freedom has not been easy. So we should not misuse and we should not let others misuse our hard-earned freedom. When I say misuse in our thoughts, in our speech, in our actions. Mansa vacha karmana. We should respect our nation. We should respect our freedom fighters. Then only you'll be called a patriot. A spirit of giving in the interest of nation and citizens. Self-responsibility, we always have the feeling and spirit of giving. And if you have that kind of, if you harbor that kind of feeling and spirit and emotions, then you are a real patriot. You're not asking anything for yourself. You're asking either for the citizens of this country or for the nation per se. Then, if you are doing your job to the best of your ability and sincerity and capability, I think you are a patriot. Because that is where you are contributing maximum. You are not shamming. You are doing due diligence in your work. You are putting your heart and soul in the job that you are doing or you have been assigned with. Friends, these two words, inspiration and motivation, you very often you hear these words. You draw an inspiration from someone and then motivate yourself. You get inspired by someone, but you have to motivate yourself. Inspiration drawn from somebody can motivate you, but it's not necessary that you have been inspired, you will be motivated. No, motivation has to be self. It has to be self motivations. So inspiration is defined as an act of influencing people mentally and emotionally to do something creative. You influence people. You influence your subordinates so they can motivate themselves to contribute more to the organization. Whereas motivation refers to a process of stimulating someone to act in a definite way to achieve a goal. So once you are inspired, you get motivated, you do a particular job or a project, progress in it, and finally achieve success. Leadership, which is a which is a term which is used very often in the army during our training period. I just read out two definitions of leadership here. A process of social influence in which one person can enlist the aid and support of others in the accomplishment of a common task. Leadership is organizing a group of people to achieve a common goal. We in Army lay a lot of emphasis on leadership qualities. Now, officer-like qualities, again, a term which is very frequently used in the academy. Officer-like qualities and the leadership qualities, there's no difference. These 15 qualities which you may not be able to read in circles. I'll just flash the next slide, which will give you all these 15 qualities. I have grouped these qualities in these 4 heads: planning and organization, social adjustment, dynamic, and social effectiveness. Sorry. Under planning and organization, effective intelligence, reasoning ability, organizing ability, power expression. Social adjustment, social adaptability, cooperation, sense of responsibility, dynamic, determination, courage, stamina, initiative, self-confidence, speed of decision, ability to influence the group, liveliness. Now, out of these 15 qualities, I've identified some of them which, if you imbibe and develop, you'll be able to contribute more to your organization. Under planning and organization, the first is reasoning ability. We'll cover each one of them separately. Now, this is the reasoning ability, is the ability to grasp the essentials well and arrive at the conclusions by rational and logical thinking. That it includes receptivity, inquiring attitude, logical reasoning, seeing essentials of a problem. People with higher reasoning ability are exceptionally sharp, analytical, highly imaginative, logical, and practical. How to inculcate? I'll not be covering deliberately because it will take a lot of time. You can go through the slide in your own time, and thereafter you can inculcate these abilities. Power expression is ability to put across ideas adequately with ease and clarity. Is termed as power expression. This includes eloquence, clarity of thought, precise and effective communication. People with this quality are more eloquent, forceful, lucid, precise, and effective in their expressions. How to inculcate? In your spare time. Social adjustment. Social adaptability. Ability to adapt himself to the social environment and adjust well with persons and social groups. It includes social intelligence, attitude towards others, tact, adaptability. Persons with higher adaptability are genial, very spontaneous in adjusting well in short time, outgoing, amiable, accommodative, flexible, understanding, friendly, and sympathetic. Cooperation. Willingly works in harmony with others and believes in achieving the group goal. Such persons are altruistic, selfless, volunteers, workers with tremendous esprit de corps. They are also humane, warm-hearted, spontaneous, and group-minded people. And they believe in achieving group goal. Sense of responsibility. One willingly discharges one's duty, and such people are dependable. This includes understand value of duty, demonstrate willingness and doing one's best, discipline, faithfully and firmly doing what one is ordered to do, acting strictly in accordance with rules, regulations, and conventions. Persons with higher sense of responsibility are exceptionally dutiful, faithful, and respectful to authority. They are very conscientious and go out of the way to shoulder responsibilities. The people having sense of responsibility are really dependable. One example, I'll quote of Rahul Dravid. He used to be known as Mr. Dependable. So he really had sense of responsibility to stick around the wickets so that, we don't get out cheaply. Social effectiveness. Speed of decision. Without this quality, opportunities are lost, friends. Procrastination in taking an important decision may cost a lot. The ability to arrive at workable decision expeditiously is based on appropriateness and cost effectiveness of a decision, feasibility and practicability of the decision, the quickness in arriving at the decision. Persons with a good decision-making speed are infallible, prompt, judicious, and take sound decisions with a considerable sense of urgency. They are never wavering, impulsive, hesitant, erratic in their decisions. Ability to influence the group. How you can influence the group help you emerging as a leader. This includes an individual to bring about a willing effort from the group. The ability is the prime cause of cooperative and willing effort of a group. Persons with the quality are highly inspiring in magnetic charm, indispensable, impressionable, assertive, persuasive, firm, and have considerable capacity to overcome opposition. Liveliness. Capacity to keep yourself buoyant when meeting problems. The ability to bring about a cheerful atmosphere. This is very important. Come what may, you should not lose your happiness. Whatever goals you are trying to achieve, achieve through happiness and not for happiness. If you are postponing your happiness to achieve the goal, you will never be happy. So keep yourself lively, happy, keep doing your job. Dynamic. Determination. It's about sustained effort to achieve objective in spite of obstacles and setbacks. It includes application to work and drive. People with this quality are focused and dedicated. They are undaunted. They will not leave a work unfinished till the time they complete it in totality. Courage. The ability to appreciate and take purposive risks willingly. It includes ability to meet unidentified dangers, spirit of adventure, an enterprising spirit, and a willingness to dare or risk a hazard, the capacity to keep oneself composed in adverse situations. People with this quality take risks, are composed in adverse situations, are fearless, and take initiative. Now, before I go further, let me tell you, I'll repeat it for the sake of repetition, that please calm your mind. There's too much of cluttering in the mind, and when it is so, your mind is not able to think coherently. You're not able to take decisions. You're not able to concentrate or focus on a problem or its solution rather. So please do necessary yoga, the exercises, and pranayama. Invest some time in spirituality. Detach yourself from the worldly affairs. When I say detach mentally. You may not be able to detach physically. You may be using it, but detach mentally. It is not mine. It is not ours. It's been given to me for my use temporarily. So that kind of a thought, if you harbor, then nothing is mine. Just grow over I and mine. All the problems revolve around or pivot around I and mine. All the afflictions of Kam, Krodh, Moh, Lobh, Mad, Matsar, Ahankar, these arise out of I and mine. Just you can do the exercise in your own spare time. So I was asked to explain as to how you can contribute better in the development or in your organization. So please look within. Try and enhance your inner strength. Enhance your resilience. If you are able to do that, you can increase your output manyfold. Lastly, few examples of patriots. I thought I'd just list them down arbitrarily. Of course, most of them are from the history, which I like personally. Guru Gobind Singh, he sacrificed all his 4 sons. 2 were killed and 2 were, I would say, killed mercilessly, buried under the wall and things like that. Rani Lakshmibai, hats off to this lady. She really, uh, fought Britishers like a lioness, I would say. Maharana Pratap, again, if you read the history, he ate bread of grass. घास की रोटी बनी उन्होंने खाई है while he was fighting Mughals. Shivaji, again a tremendous man, very high regards, very high respect. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, I've already dwelled upon him. Dr. Homiji Bhabha, again a he was killed unfortunately under very suspicious circumstances, they say by CIA. He was the father, he was known as father of Indian nuclear program. Dr. Raja Ramanna, who took the reins from Dr. Homiji Bhabha, Homi J. Bhabha, worked for 40 years in Bhabha Atomic Research Center. And he was instrumental in getting the Pokhran explosion carried out under the leadership of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So great contribution of Dr. Homiji Bhabha and Raja Ramanna. Dr. Abdul Kalam, a missile man. I don't know. I have no words for him. He's just ultimate. I'm speechless about Dr. Abdul Kalam. J.R.D. Tata and Ratan Tata. What a humane persons these human people they are. You know what all J.R.D. Tata and Ratan Tata inherited all his business and everything from J.R.D. Tata. But he's an industrialist, he's not a businessman. It will be wrong on my part to call him a businessman. He's an industrialist. He is more interested in the welfare of his citizens of this country. He's a philanthropist. He's philanthropist in real sense. I am reminded of an incident of Ratan Tata. He went to some office of his for inspection. He just casually went inside a subordinate washroom, and he found that washroom was stinking like hell. It was very dirty, ill-maintained. He came out, changed the board from officer's toilet to subordinate toilets and subordinate toilet to officer's toilet. And he gave orders that every 15 days the board will be exchanged, board will be changed, interchanged. With the result, you can imagine, both the toilets were well maintained. So he is again a great personality. I've got all admiration for Ratan Tata. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, a very down-to-earth, humble man, and believe in taking very hard decisions. Pokhran, and a man of character. He let his government fall for short of one vote. You'll all recall. But he was convinced. Anyways, we'll not talk more on that. Nambi Narayan, rocketeer, a great man. He developed Vikas engine wherein cryogenic fuel was used for rocket launching, and this particular Vikas engine has never failed. What a tremendous contribution he did to the space technology, satellite launching. So, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, and friends, I would say I would conclude my talk by a very famous quote of John F. Kennedy, the youngest ever president of the United States of America. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And a very famous song from film Kesari, तेरी मिट्टी में मिल जावा, गुल बनके मैं खिल जावा, इतनी से है दिल की आरज़ू, तेरी नदियों में बह जावा, तेरे खेतों में लहरावा, इतनी सी है दिल की आरज़ू. With this, ladies and gentlemen, I come to the end of my talk. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. God bless everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. If anyone want to ask something, you can share your thought in chat. Okay. On behalf of all participants, I express my thankfulness to Colonel Saxena for providing us vibrant hues of patriotism and its linkages with nations building. Sir, your thoughts will always inspire us to contribute to nations building in all our endeavors. I am also thankful to IMT CDL for providing this platform to join the rhythm of AzadiKaAmritMahotsav, and I thank to all participants to respect the feeling of patriotism by their participation. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, sir.